where we talk anything and everything SEO, and lately, a lot of AI search. This is our AI window, and this video is a continuation of the previous education when we talked about how people are sort of tired of the AI overviews and moving more to DuckDuckGo. And we explored how to sort of work with that search a little bit, and then actually how to work with AI search because it is a thing. It is growing and it is coming on us left and right, and we cannot escape it. So this is the continuation of it. We already talked about how to optimize, what works, what does not work. We spoke to Michal about his findings and all of the data he works with. And we spoke to Katrina just this week, and she talked to us about all her research and all her tests and how to get visible in AI and how to work with this. And this video is just a continuation of it because I don't know if you ever realize, but search is not free. And I'm not saying just AI search, Google search as well. Every time you search, you cost. Did you ever think about it? Did you ever think how expensive it is to run the free Google, for example? So Google search is a little bit cheaper, but it is not cheap because there is the crawling, the indexing, the ranking. They need to show links. They need to think of in their algorithm like what's good and what's not. They try to clean up the SERPs from all the abuse because yes, abuse exists. We have got all of the parasite SEO and canonical abuse and this and that, and they're trying to clean it. So they do a lot of manual cleanups and they do a lot of algorithmic pushes. Right now, we know that there is a spam update rolling, so it is not cheap. And I actually looked into it, and one search, any search, how to groom my cat, how to make a tea, how to know if the milk is off. Every time you search anything in Google, it costs Google $0.003, which is absolutely nothing, right? You think like that's fair enough, that's fine. But then you realize that there are 13 to 14 billion searches a day. Billion searches a day. And that comes to whopping $39 million daily. Now, if you think of the 13, 14 billion searches a day, it comes to 5 trillion searches annually. And that means, that annually we cost Google, plus minus of course, $14,235,000,000 just for us freely consuming the information, typing, asking, searching. That is wow, right? So search is expensive. And now how expensive is AI search? AI search is calculated a little bit differently because it works through tokens. And AI search is actually very, very, very expensive. Depends how much you search. So it's not like each search is $0.003. Each search is something else. Google is a search engine and gives you results, the blue links, right? AI is not a search engine, it's an answer engine. And in our last video, I explained that they don't have one index. You ask questions, they go around the web, they try to scrape all the data and try to compile the best answer they can based on the data they found. So simple answer with simple question might be anything up to 2,000 tokens. This is just rough estimates, okay? I'm not saying it's exact, but plus minus. Product recommendations could be up to 10,000 tokens. Oh, we're already getting into big numbers. Research queries up to 50,000 tokens. Long conversation, because yes, you can keep conversing with the AI. How do I do this? Can you explain a little bit more this? That's not what I meant. Can you please explain this? Up to 100,000 tokens, and deep research and report. I'm sure we use it. I'm sure students use it. Up to 1 million tokens. I mean, it is getting pretty expensive. Let's go to what is a simple question, the one that could be 500 to 2,000 tokens or maybe less. What is capital of France? This question is very easy and the answer is very easy, right? We all know it without even asking. We know it's Paris. So the prompt costs something, the answer costs something, and together, let's say it's 50 tokens. Not much. But then we get into something a little bit more complex. For example, something that gets a little bit more research is not straightforward. So how can a business appear in ChatGPT recommendations? Now here, it needs to think a little bit more. It needs to research a little bit more, right? It needs to go to using the prompt and then getting some branding and marketing information, then checking for some research and then some reasoning, and then getting you the final answer. And all of these steps, there is some calculation of the tokens behind that. And this could be, let's say, 8,000 tokens. And this is not even all that complex, right? So I'm sure if you are asking about research paper and you have got way too many prompts and you keep working with it, I see how it can consume lots and lots and lots of tokens. So let's go to it. How does AI search actually work? We already talked about it in my last video, but just to recap so you see the difference between Google and between AI. Reads the information, processes it, generates the answers and gives you the answer. It is an answer machine, right? It's an answer engine. It's not search engine as such. And to work with all of this, it needs a GPU resources, which are graphic processing units, especially if you are creating images. I am guilty as charged. I use it to create images. Create image of this. Change it like this. I don't like that. Change that. Uses tokens, uses memory and computation. And all of this is costly. Each step costs money. So it's not just 0.003, roughly. Each step, depending on how big is the query and how many times you little bit poke it around, it can become very expensive. So it doesn't really serve us all these classical blue links like SEOs are used to, but it creates an answer. And we are still learning how to work with it. But now we know we are working with tokens. And we need to optimize for best usage of tokens. And if you put it to the normal SEO world, the one that you're very familiar with, we always optimize for crawl budget. Are our pages readable enough, fast enough? Is it easy for the crawls to actually find it? We create sitemaps, we create internal links. We make it easy because we want to make sure the pages are seen, processed, found, and can be recommended as a good result in the blue links. This is basically the same, but we need to optimize for tokens because now we know that words become tokens. These prompts, they consume tokens. Answers consume tokens. Documents consume tokens. Images consume tokens. So you need to optimize it as much as possible to make sure that your pages don't consume too many tokens and are recommendable, right? Every step, as I said, costs money. Now, of course, internet is huge. We put everything out there, social media, videos, images, research papers. Everything can be found out there, and thanks for that. It is a fantastic source of information, of education, of entertainment, of everything. But it's too big for AI to consume. AI cannot consume all of the billions of pages and images and videos. Cannot read every page. There is not enough of the tokens to read infinite contents that don't give precise answers. So it sort of finds its way what's good for them to consume, what's good for them to crawl, what's good for them to find as a source. Of course, trusted sources, brands, communities, highly cited content, and content that is optimized. We live in token economy. Yeah, we already talked about it. So what does this mean? We need to optimize for the tokens so our results are economical enough for the AI to scrape, understand, and recommend. Because everything costs. The pages needs to serve the answers fast, it needs to be quality, preferably good brand, and still it costs tokens. So, of course, well-known brands, authoritative websites, communities, And trusted entities are more likely to appear as recommendations or as cited sources in any LLM. That's why you see so much Reddit, Quora, YouTube, Wikipedia. Those are known quantities. Okay, so as always, try to get on them to actually get some visibility. Good for you. Highly recommend it, but as well learn from them. Building a huge brand is not something you can do overnight, so try to be included in a big brand. But big brands reduce risk, not just for AI, for you as a human being as well. You are more likely to buy online from a store that you know than to a store that you never heard of and started to exist yesterday, right? If I'm buying online, I go to Amazon, for example. It's there for a long time. I used it many times. If I have a problem, they help me. They cater for me. They are known quantity. They are trusted brand built over years. I will never go to something that is recommended on Facebook and it was started yesterday and the brand doesn't ring a bell and I just cannot trust it. Why should AI trust it if you cannot, right? Now, we talked about this as well in my previous videos, but I really, really want you to keep this in mind. BLUF, bottom line up front, meaning the most important information first and then any other details. This is coming from a military concept. So let's say they would give you the decision first. They would say, training tomorrow, 7 a.m., all be there. They will not tell you like, oh, yesterday we were talking and thinking like, they could do a little bit more push-ups, they look weak and maybe we can let them run a little bit. And therefore we decided you're gonna have a training 7 a.m. They're gonna start with the 7 a.m. and then maybe explain you why they got to it and how they got to it. And you need to do the same, to the conclusion, the most important pressing information first, then the reasoning, evidence, and details. This is how BLUF should work, just in case you didn't get it before. And what happens during one AI search? And should you really care? I personally think you should. It's not going to replace Google yet. 13, 14 billion searches a day. Hello. But it doesn't mean that this is not an important channel, important enhancement of the traffic you can be getting. So AI reads your prompt, now processes thousands of tokens to get you the answer, performs calculations, and then serve you the answer. And all of these calculations consume GPU time. Again, not cheap, and not just one number on the search. So because this is expensive, it really matters how you optimize it. Speed, again, nothing new compared to SEOs. We always try to have fast pages, not just for the crawlers and for Google, but as well for human. If I'm going somewhere and I want to, purchase something or read about something and it's not loading, I am leaving. I think any crawlers are more patient than me. I just bounce back and I'm okay, bet. Quality as well. Quality could be anything, how it is presented, what is presented there. Quality depends what you really mean, but quality, of course, matters. Costs. They optimize the cost. So think of the BLUF as I spoke about it here. Conclusion, reason, evidence, detail. Bottom line upfront. This lowers the amount of tokens that is going to be spent on the page. So if my page is going to find you the answer and give you the reasoning and everything in 500 tokens, and my competitor's page is going to give it to you with 5,000 tokens, I am winning. Okay? What does this mean for us? Trusted brands, of course, bigger brands do better in any niche. Doesn't mean you have to give up because you don't have a huge brand. You can, as I said, be featured on Wikipedia. You can be featured on LinkedIn. You can be featured on YouTube. Those are big brands. These are known places. They are authoritative sources. They are well-known entities. So if you can get there, you are already winning. And meanwhile, build up your brand because brand will get you the future. I really hope my video helped you, and I hope you started to think that all of these costs And we know it costs water and environment and all of that. But did you ever really truly think about it? Did you really think how expensive it is to actually search? Now, I hope you will think of it from now on, and I hope you will keep this thought in mind when you are actually optimizing your content for Google, for clients, and for any LLM. Thank you.
If you got value from this video and want direct access to us, weekly calls, training, and the latest SEO updates, and a community of people operating at this level, click the link in the description to join the boardroom. We'll see you inside.